First of all, I thought it was incredible in the Capitol today. You know why I liked it? Because I got great reviews on that speech. I got great reviews. Can you believe it? They actually were fair. Maybe the fake news is changing.
Unleashing energy production.
Yeah, unleashing energy production. Made in China, nobody ever complained about it. The only one they complain about is TikTok. And TikTok is largely young people. I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok that I didn't have originally, but you know, I went on TikTok and I won young people up by 36%, Peter. And Republicans typically don't do too well with young people, but it's a different Republican Party.
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th.
Welcome to Boney's View. This is Tiffany, and this is my take, where I break down the key stories shaping our nation with thoughtful analysis and a touch of optimism. This is episode 2. Make sure to check out episode 1, where I talked about Tulsi Gabbard, her journey from the Democratic Party to an independent, then a Republican, and now Trump's nominee for Director of National Intelligence. President Donald Trump made waves his first week in office with pardons and executive orders on everything from climate to immigration to public health. In this episode, we dive into Donald Trump's bold return to the presidency and the impactful executive orders he's introduced, all aimed at putting America first. We'll explore the potential benefits of these transformative policies and what they could mean for the American people. Donald Trump is starting his second term with unparalleled momentum, signing an estimated 200 executive orders to reshape the nation's priorities and policies. These day one actions underscore a commitment to reviving the spirit of America, ensuring its future prosperity, and restoring a sense of common sense in governance. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. Trump declared during his inaugural address from the Capitol Rotunda, "With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. It's all about common sense." Now, let's get into the heart of it, breaking down some of the most significant executive orders shaping the early days of President Trump's return to office. Let's dive right in. Crackdown on illegal immigration. Trump's 10 executive orders on immigration signal a decisive return to securing our borders.
This is a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion based on the current crisis at the southern border. It invokes various executive powers relating to the ongoing invasion at the southern border.
Declaring a national emergency, he reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy, fast-tracked the completion of the border wall, and designated cartels as terrorist organizations.
Sir, this is an executive order realigning the United States refugee admission program to better align with American principles and American interests. This next executive order is about protecting America from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Again, crisis at the border, but it goes beyond that and it implicates other executive powers as well.
Yeah.
These measures aim to protect American communities from crime and drugs, while ensuring that legal immigration pathways remain fair and robust.
President Trump, if cartels are now going to be seen as foreign terror organizations, would you think about ordering U.S. Special Forces into Mexico to take them out?
Could happen. Stranger things have happened.
The expected outcome: safer neighborhoods, a more secure border, and restored confidence in America's ability to enforce its laws. Renaming the Gulf of Mexico. One of the most talked about orders is Trump's decision to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. Trump argues that this change reflects the region's critical importance to U.S. trade, energy production, and national identity. Supporters viewed this as a patriotic rebranding, boosting American pride and emphasizing our sovereignty. While critics voice concerns, many Americans see it as a symbolic step towards reclaiming our country's influence. Revisiting gender identity policies. In a move aimed at simplifying federal procedures, Trump's administration has mandated the recognition of only two genders, male and female, on official documents.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Advocates argue that this provides clarity and consistency in policy. While the debate over gender identity remains a hot topic, supporters believe this approach reflects traditional values and aligns with a broader emphasis on straightforward governance. The DEI dismantling executive orders. President Trump also signed executive orders on Monday and Tuesday that aim to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, programs within the federal government. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based, Mr. Trump declared during his inauguration speech on Monday.
So this is about reforming the system of hiring in the federal government to ensure that merit is the lodestar of hiring decisions
As
opposed
per
to
the Supreme Court.
other matters. Yes, sir.
This is a big deal, merit. Our country is going to be based on merit again. Can you believe it?
A memo from the U.S. Office of Personnel Management issued Tuesday evening directed all federal DEI employees to be placed on leave by Wednesday evening. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed this move in a post on X, citing CBS News reporting. The orders cut funding for DEI initiatives across all agencies, effectively ending DEI inside the federal government, according to Trump administration officials. While DEI initiatives may have been founded with good intentions, a common flaw in many DEI training programs is their heavy emphasis on identifying unconscious biases without adequately distinguishing between justifiable and unjustifiable cases of bias. This lack of clarity has often resulted in divisiveness, with some arguing that these programs have inadvertently become discriminatory. Critics contend that in attempting to address racial discrimination, DEI programs have, in many cases, resorted to practices that discriminate against other groups, particularly white Americans. DEI initiatives can sometimes undermine the achievements of minority groups by fostering the perception that their workplace successes were granted, rather than earned on merit. And I do agree with most of those arguments. In my opinion, this approach is counterproductive and ultimately does more harm than good to the very groups it aims to support. In total, Trump signed more than 24 executive orders Monday evening, including one that orders a federal hiring freeze at agencies. Beyond the hiring freeze, Trump also signed an executive order Monday telling agencies to return their federal employees to work at the office as soon as practicable. The president directed agencies to end remote work arrangements and require employees to work in person full-time. The order does give agencies some flexibilities, allowing department and agency heads to make exemptions they deem necessary. These actions highlight President Trump's push to prioritize merit-based policies and minimize what his administration views as divisive practices within federal systems. Halting foreign aid for DEI agendas. Trump's America First approach extends to foreign aid, halting funds for diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs abroad. The administration argues American taxpayers' dollars should prioritize domestic concerns and strategic interests. This realignment promises to refocus resources on strengthening the U.S. economy, bolstering defense, and ensuring that aid supports American allies in meaningful ways. Reviving America First energy policies. By declaring a national energy emergency, Trump has taken significant steps to revitalize domestic energy production.
Oh, look at that. It says TikTok. My, what is that all about?
First, we have Alaska, sir. This is an executive order relating to unleashing Alaska's potential as an energy reservoir for the entire nation.
And what about ANWR?
I believe that would be included in aspects of the order.
So we're opening up ANWR.
revoking the U.S. commitment to the Paris Climate Accords. His orders end restrictive regulations and champion baby drill policies.
First of all, I thought it was incredible in the Capitol today. You know why I liked it? Because I got great reviews on that speech. I got great reviews. Can you believe it? They actually were fair.
This is
Maybe the fake news is changing.
unleashing energy production.
Yeah, unleashing energy production.
These measures are expected to lower energy costs, create jobs in the energy sector, and reduce reliance on foreign oil.
What's this one?
That's unleashing American energy, sir. It relates to easing permitting processes and other regulatory systems to ensure that we can produce energy efficiently to drive the American economy forward.
For everyday Americans, this translates into more affordable fuel prices, cheaper groceries, and economic growth.
President, you spoke about inflation today in your remarks. What actions are you taking today that will have a direct impact for Americans on their everyday costs to bring the cost down?
The biggest thing and factor for inflation is energy. They screwed up my energy policy, and then they went back to it. You know, they heard it really badly, and then they went back to it, and they started drilling more, but by that time it was too late.
The WHO withdrawal executive order. Among the most controversial was his announcement to withdraw the U.S. from the World Health Organization. WHO, a move he had attempted during his first term.
What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir?
Ooh, that's a big one.
While the decision was rescinded by the Biden administration in 2021, Trump has now revisited it with renewed determination.
They offered me to come back for $39 million. In theory, it should be less than that, but, you know. And when Biden came back, they came back for $500 million. He knew that you could have come back for $39 million. They wanted us back so badly, so we'll see what happens.
Trump's rationale for the withdrawal centers on what he views as the WHO's slow response to the COVID-19 pandemic and its failure to investigate the outbreak in China before it spread globally. He further highlighted disparities in contributions, noting that China, with a population of 1.4 billion, contributes nearly 90% less to the WHO than the United States.
So we paid $500 million to World Health when I was here, and I terminated it. China, with 1.4 billion people, we have 350 to pay. We have, nobody knows what we have because so many people came in illegally, but let's say we have 325. They had 1.4 billion. They were paying 39 million, we were paying 500 million. It seemed a little unfair to me. So that wasn't the reason, but I dropped out.
The WHO continues to demand unfairly onerous payments from the United States, far out of proportion with other countries' assessed payments. The executive order reads, "This decision underscores Trump's commitment to reshaping international relationships and prioritizing American interests in global health governance." The Pardons and Commutations Executive Order. One of the first executive orders issued by President Trump focused on pardons and commutations for around 150 people convicted for the January 6th incident.
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutations?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again.
The Democrats and the left-leaning media have been losing their minds, claiming it's a disregard for the rule of law. However, though I agree that some of them broke the law at the Capitol, it appears that the January 6th culprits were punished more severely than the rioters from the George Floyd protests, who were looting and burning things.
What happened in Seattle where they took over a big portion of the city? What happened in Portland where they burn down the city every day and people die? Nothing happened to anybody. But they go after these people violently. I mean, they're still going after brand new people. They found somebody else with a picture. There's never been anything like this. And you know, it's almost 100%. Think of this, almost 100% of the people are convicted. 100%.
Additionally, there are allegations that former Speaker Nancy Pelosi had the opportunity to prevent the violence but chose to decline an offer of 10,000 National Guard troops for political reasons. Furthermore, recent revelations that FBI informants were present during the events and may have even contributed to some of the illegal acts at the Capitol add further layers to the story.
And obviously the FBI was involved because Ray admitted the FBI was involved. Didn't he say 23 people indirectly or directly were involved? And it was then 26. That's a lot of people.
So, if the punishments for the January 6th incident and the George Floyd riots were not applied equally, then the pardons and commutations by Trump are justified, in my opinion. Showerheads, TikTok, and Mount McKinley executive orders. Not all of Trump's day one actions are heavy policy changes. Some bring practical, even amusing, benefits.
80% of homes and apartments have gas heaters. He wants them all removed quickly. These people are crazy. There's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with them. They also want to go back, and they have already started that, to when you buy a faucet, no water comes out because they want to preserve. Even in areas that have so much water, you don't know what to do. It's called rain. It comes down from heaven. And they want to do, no water comes out of the shower. It goes drip, drip, drip. So what happens, you're in the shower 10 times as long, you know. No water comes out of the faucet. You want to wash your hands. They want to go back to even stronger than what they have right now. As you know, I ended that policy. You can have all the water you want. Makes no difference. It comes weird, especially in certain areas. We have so much water, we don't know what to do with it. But these are all things. They want very, very little water to go into your dishwasher, almost none. And you know what people do? They just keep pressing, keep it going. They end up using more water. Likewise, washing machines. They want in your washing machine to have very little water coming out of the washing machine. So when you wash your clothing, you have to wash it 4 times instead of once. You end up using more water. We're a party of common sense, and things that I'm telling you now is really all about common sense.
By eliminating water flow restrictions on shower heads and dishwashers, Trump aims to improve convenience for consumers.
TikTok piece, President Trump, you and your members of your team now used to warn about the dangers of TikTok spying on Americans. What changed that you're not worried about that anymore?
Well, it depends on the deal. I mean, I may not do the deal or I may do the deal. TikTok is worthless if I don't approve it. It has to close. I learned that from the people that own it. If I don't do the deal, it's worthless, worth nothing. If I do the deal, it's worth maybe $1 trillion, $1 trillion. So if I do the deal I'm talking about doing it for the United States. If I do the deal for the United States, then I think we should get half.
The TikTok CEO.
In other words, I think the U.S. should be entitled to get half of TikTok. And congratulations, TikTok has a good partner. And that would be worth, could be $500 billion or something. It's crazy. The numbers are crazy.
Extending TikTok's U.S. operations for 75 days shows a savvy recognition of its cultural impact, especially among younger voters.
But remember, they make telephones in China. They make all sorts of things in China. Nobody ever complains about that. Here they're complaining about this. There's so many different products made in China, and nobody ever complained about it. The only one they complain about is TikTok. And TikTok is largely young people. I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok that I didn't have originally. But, I went on TikTok, and I won young people up by 36%, Peter. And Republicans typically don't do too well with young people. But it's a different Republican Party.
And reverting Denali's name to Mount McKinley honors historical tradition, sparking discussions on preserving American heritage. Trump's return to the Oval Office promises a presidency filled with bold ideas and decisive actions. From securing the border to reigniting energy independence, his executive orders set a clear tone. America. Yes, America comes first. These initiatives offer hope for economic growth, enhanced security, and a renewed sense of national pride. Thank you for joining me on my take. Be sure to check out episode 1, where I dive into Tulsi Gabbard's journey. And don't miss the episodes of Tales with a Twist by my colleague, Ella, filled with political insights and satirical undertones. You definitely don't want to sleep on that. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more thoughtful analysis and engaging discussions. Until next time, stay informed, stay optimistic, and keep the conversation going.